Hi everyone. It's been a while since the last time I posted anything on this channel. There were reasons for that. I've been quite busy lately. But today I would like to talk about somewhat controversial subject, which is MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries Hero Mechs, so-called Hero Mechs. So, here is what's going on. Right here, as you can see, this is, quite a long time into the campaign. This is the campaign here, not the career mode. Okay, so this is the campaign mode, the one, you get to play the main mercenary storyline where you fight the Camstar at the end. And as you can see, I've been playing this campaign for quite a long time, and this is the year of 3126. And the reason I am making this video is because here in this campaign I've collected every single hero mech so far. Every single hero mech so far. Now, we have another DLC coming up, which is called Shadow of the Kerensky. I believe it's coming sometime in September. And at the time of filming this video, it's August, so it's not out yet. And that new DLC, as it's probably, has been the case so far with all other DLCs, it will probably bring a few more hero mechs, but just so you know, up until that DLC which is coming out, Shadow of Kerensky, I have all of other DLCs. The last one was the Solaris Showdown. So up until this point, I've gathered every single hero mech, as you can see. As a matter of fact, there are so many of different hero mechs. By the way, I tried to bring every single hero mech into the, regular storage, and I couldn't do that. There is just not enough room for it. As you can see, these are all heroes right here. They are going down in the alphabetical order here. Not by class or weight or size, it's just, alphabetical order here. And I had to stop with this hunchback. But, if you scroll down through my cold storage, which is quite extensive at this point, I've got a bunch of mechs at this point. I still have a bunch of hero mechs in their true past letter H. Past letter H. I even have some hero urban mechs for that matter. So, there are a lot of different hero mechs in here. And now let's talk a little bit about how do you find hero mechs, in case if you're interested in them. Well, there are a couple of ways that you can do that. The fastest way, and perhaps the most expensive one, and I've talked about this subject in my previous videos where I was talking about how you find the Annihilator or Marauder 2, which are quite rare assault mechs. But anyways, the first and the most expensive way to find hero mechs, or any mechs for that matter, is if you are playing this game on the PC, you can download a mod which allows you to order any mech you wish in the industrial hub. You have to be in industrial hub for that matter. And if you do that, the downside of that is that you will have to pay a 75% markup, which is quite expensive. Plus, if you select an expedited shipping, the mech may arrive slightly damaged. You will also have to repair it. Even though I do have this mode installed, I have never touched it in this campaign or other careers for that matter, because it can be actually quite expensive thing to do. Even when you have billions, as I do now, on your bank account, you can easily go broke if you are not careful with those spendings. Those spendings can easily add up, because you can not only order the mechs through this mod, through this feature, but you can also order the weapons this way. And weapons, when you're ordering weapons, you also pay that 75% markup, and it's a lot. And when you buy 5-tier stuff, it's gonna cost you a fortune. You better have a lot of money when you do that. So for that matter, I don't use this mod. And plus you will have to wait a great deal of time until that mech gets delivered. Something around 3 months. I don't remember the exact time, but it's several months actually. It's kind of like a space Amazon. So I don't use this mod, even though I do have it installed, I never use it. And it's also not as fun, when you're just buying or ordering any stuff. There is not enough challenge in my opinion, but it's still a nice option to have. So that's the first easiest way. Now, the second way, the most obvious one, is just fly around industrial hubs and shop around. So this way you can actually find them quite easily, provided you have enough money, of course, to buy them, because they can cost you a bit of money. Like for instance, this Atlas BH A7-BH, the Borehead, the popular variant that everybody likes. I mean the Hero variant. It can cost, depending on your standing with the faction where you're buying it. If you're in a bad standing with them, this thing can cost you up to 60 millions, a whopping 60 millions. And in my opinion, it's probably, if you are tight on money, it's probably not worth it. Now, let's talk about this second way of acquiring Hero Mechs. Well, here is what's going on. Like I said earlier, this is the campaign mode, not the career mode. I'm not sure how it's going to be done in the career mode, if you're playing a career mode. But here is what's going on in the campaign mode, and this is, the biggest difference between career mode and campaign mode. Like I said, in campaign mode, you get to play the main campaign, the main mercenary storyline, where you end up fighting the Comstar forces at the end. In the career mode, you don't get to do that, unfortunately. Now, another big difference between the career and campaign mode is that in career mode you get to choose where you start your career, the faction where you started. In campaign mode you start it in the House Davion territory on the Berry, right here on this planet. And what's happening is that all of these conflict zones in the campaign mode, they actually go clockwise in terms of difficulty. So you start with the easy, campaign areas, I mean combat areas right here, which are the easiest ones, and then you move on, you progress into the most difficult ones. It gets progressively difficult as you're moving clockwise. Now, this is important to know, because this is also how these industrial hubs are functioning, because when you have this very easy combat areas, the nearby industrial hubs will carry mostly light mechs and medium mechs at best. And then once you start traveling more clockwise, you will start encountering occasionally some heavy mechs, and then from heavy mechs, you will start traveling farther. You will eventually start encountering assault mechs. Also, your reputation, I believe, has to be at a certain level before you start even seeing assault mechs, because if your reputation below a certain level, nobody will even show you or sell you any assault mechs. So this is how this campaign mode functions. So how do you find Hero Mechs, specifically in the campaign mode? And this is how this game's algorithm works. Is that once you travel, let's say from afar, let's say if you're located here, and you cannot see what's for sale going on in this industrial hub, you travel over here, and then some hero mech might appear. Like there will be a symbol of a hero mech in either of the systems telling you that the hero mech is available on that map. I mean, in that system. Likewise, if you travel, let's say, from here to somewhere, over here, which is a long distance, you might encounter hero mech as well. And then let's say you buy that hero mech here or either here or there, and then you go back farther away where you cannot see the what's going on in these systems, and then let's say you travel back through this industrial hub. There is a possibility that another hero mech might appear. And now, just like I was mentioning earlier, in these industrial hubs that are located in these easy conflict zones, you are likely to encounter the either the light hero mechs or medium ones. Okay, you will never encounter in here any of the heavy or assault hero mechs. Same story goes for let's say this medium difficulty level conflict zone and their nearby industrial hubs. You will encounter in there some hero mechs, but you're not gonna encounter any assault hero mechs in there. You can encounter light hero mechs, you can encounter medium hero mechs, and you can encounter some heavy hero mechs. And if you wanna encounter some assault hero mechs, well, then you are better off travel into more challenging territories and conflict zone and their industrial hubs. This is where you're highly likely to encounter some hero assault mechs. What's also important to note is that if you wanna encounter, if you have a good chance encountering good hero mechs or any good mechs for that matter, you better keep a good standing with, try to keep a decent standing with all of the houses, because I remember when the first time I've played this game, which was years ago, I started with the campaign mode. I've done mistake of fighting House Kurita for a long time. And I had a horrible standing with them. And as a matter of fact, eventually, once I've got into their industrial hubs, I could not even see any good assault mechs or any good hero mechs, because they weren't even showing me any. They hated me. They wouldn't even sell me anything. They wouldn't want to sell me anything. So be careful with that. In the campaign mode, you don't wanna mess with House Kurita, because they have a lot of good inventory. If you have a good standing with them, they will show you a lot of good stuff for purchase. Plus, if you have a good standing, they will also give you some discounts. So don't just piss on House Kurita. Likewise, try to keep a good standing with, let's say, the House Davion, of course, House Steiner, and then the Free Worlds League also. You don't care about Capellans, though. You can piss on Capellans. Nobody likes them. I mean, they are kind of worthless. Their industrial hubs suck, and they don't have any money. So you can do whatever you want with them. Although I must say, just for fun, even though I've been fighting them a lot, because I've completed some of the campaign missions for them, I actually have a good standing with them in this particular campaign mode as well. I have a horrible standing with them in my other careers, but in this one it's actually pretty good. Actually, I'm here I'm friends with everybody, which is, the way to go for a mercenary. You shouldn't really be affiliated with any of the faction, you just go where the money is. So anyways, just to reiterate, if you wanna find Hero Mechs, you will have to travel several times to certain industrial hubs until they appear. Like, if you wanna find some, once again, to summarize, if you wanna find some either light, medium, or even heavy hero mechs, you need to stick with these areas right here. If you wanna go for some heavy to assault mechs, well then you're better off with some of these industrial hubs in here, and of course, House Kuritas. Like, this industrial hub is really good. This one is excellent, and then one of the best ones ever in the campaign mode. Again, remember, not the career, in the campaign mode. This is probably the juiciest one, this industrial hub right here. It's too far to travel for it, but it may be worth it. They have a lot of good stuff there. And this is, you see these systems in the periphery right here. These are left from the final missions where you're fighting the Camstar. And this is, the nearest industrial hub is located to these systems. And then, of course, once you finish the main mercenary campaign, you will have additional conflict zones appearing by the periphery. Like, let's say, I believe it's, this one is for sure, and then, if I am not mistaken, this one right there, they are all difficult conflict zone requiring highest reputation level. And then there is one in here, which is called Toran Corridor, and then one in here. So all of them are located by the peripheries. And the reason I am saying all this is because their industrial hubs will have also some, nice inventory, usually with a lot of assault mechs and, some hero mechs. Like, for instance, that Cyclops variant with the 2 Gauss rifles, which I'm going to show you in here. I purchased in either this industrial hub or this one. I don't remember exactly. And then, of course, this is an excellent industrial hub. Again, it appears only once you complete the main mercenary campaign. It's an excellent industrial hub in there. Lots of great stuff could be found there. Assault mechs, 5-tier level weapons. So, very good industrial hub right there. Anyways, so this is how you find Hero Mechs. Just explore industrial hubs and go there several times from a distance so that the inventory gets recycled, because this is how this game's algorithm works. Now, let's take a look at the Hero Mechs that I've gotten here. Again, remember, just like I said this early in the video, I do not even have enough room in this main storage to house every single Hero Mech which I've acquired. I've placed all of them in here in the alphabetical order, which starts with letter H, which is the Hunchback. Past the letter H, I would have to dig down into the cold storage right here. So we've got in here this Archer, of course, famous Agincourt, or whatever you call it. And then there is also a second Hero Archer, ARC-T variant. This is what I loaded it with. And then there is this Assassin. I am not particularly a fan of Assassin chassis in general. It's an okay mech. And then there is this Atlas S7-BH, which everybody likes, so popular, but I don't really care all that much about it, because yes, okay, it can walk at 64 kilometers per hour versus 48 kilometers per hour, which is the standard Atlas. And it's got a pretty decent close range firepower with 6 of this medium pulse lasers and this LB10X-AC, but it's lacking a bit in the long range firepower. Just, a single long range missile slot isn't quite doing it. It's okay against taking out some ground vehicles and over the hill targets, lightly armored targets, but it's not gonna do much against enemy mechs. And then moving down, we've got this Atlas S7-KR, which is under the hood. It's pretty much the same thing as your regular S7-K, minus the anti-missile system. It has been removed in here, so you could utilize the slot for additional double hit sinks, and perhaps you can just use more ammunition to feed these long range missile weapons in here. Otherwise, it's pretty similar to the standard S7-K variant. Nothing special about this one. Then this awesome AWS-PB, which works slightly faster than the -9M variant. And this one has got a missile slot, long-range missile slot, short missile slot. I've been actually, using this one for quite some times back in the day when I was actually using Hero Mechs. I don't use Hero Mechs these days much at all. It's a pretty decent mech, and in the past I've done a fair bit of important missions with this one. And then moving down, we have this Banshee BNC-LM. Again, back in the day when I was using Hero Mechs, I've done a lot of missions with this variant. This was like one of my favorite Hero Mechs out. I've been quite successful with this one. Got me through a lot of missions. Again, that was back in the day when I was just starting out playing this game. And wasn't bothered as much about the concept of such. And then this is the BNC-SR variant. Now this one is probably my least favorite Hero Assault Mech. My least favorite Hero Assault Mech is because it packs way too many important energy weapons in its left arm. And once this left arm gets knocked out, you are losing a lot of firepower. I absolutely hate that. It's got jump jets, but you know what? I don't really care about jump jets all that much in the Banshee chassis. I'd rather have a bit more of firepower. So for that matter, that standard BNC-3S variant, the House Davion variant, which appears later in the campaign, is a far more superior and far more devastating mech. I absolutely hate this particular hero variant. It's just... it's not my cup of tea. I'm sorry. It's not good. It's not good. And then we've got... what else? Battlemaster BLR-1 GHE. It's a decent mech. Again, I prefer standard Battlemasters better than this one. I do like Battlemaster chassis. It's a pretty nice and versatile mech, but I do prefer standard variants. I don't really this hero is much. It's decent. It's not terrible, but there's nothing great about it either. Then we've got some hero Black Knights in here. Again, I don't really care about this variant. Neither do I about another hero variant, which is BL-P-KNT-2, because the best Black Knight variant, there are two actually best Black Knight variants, are the ones that were built for the Star League Royal Defense Force, which are this BL-6-KNT, and then there is also, I don't have this one in this campaign, unfortunately, BL-6B-KNT, which is the Royal Defense Force variant, the Star League Defense Force variant. I've done videos on this channel about that variant, so these variants are the best, better than any of these nonsense hero ones. And then this Blackjack BG-A. This one is actually a fun one. This is a really fun one. It's because it's got 6 machine guns. I love it. I love machine guns, okay? 1 or 2 machine guns aren't gonna do all that much, but once you start stacking them up like this, it can really pack a punch. I love it. I love it. It's actually, you know, a nice, you know, close range package right there. This is a fun one, even though I'm not a fan of Hero Mechs as a concept in general. I do kinda have fun with this one. It's an excellent mech for demolition. If you wanna see, it's got jump jets. If you wanna get into the area real quick to demolish something, take down a bunch of buildings, this is the way to go. It's a really, you know, nice option with all of these machine guns. They work excellent against the buildings. And then, let's see what else we've got in here. So this is Blackjack, then this Cataphract, Ilya Muromets. CTF-IM. IM means Ilya Muromets, which is, you know, like a knight from Russian mythology. It's a it comes from the Capellan Confederation. This variant, it belonged to one of the notable MechWarriors who actually, you know, configured it this way. It's a decent mech. It's a decent mech. Cataphract chassis, you know, I am not a huge fan of the chassis in general. It can be actually pretty decent depending on how you configure it in general, but there is nothing spectacular about it either. If you use this autocannons in rapid fire variants, it's gonna consume ammo real quick, but with the burst fire variant, it's got actually pretty decent long range accuracy and firepower for that matter, so it can be actually somewhat useful for that matter. Let's see some other ones. What else? Some hero catapults. Let's see the loadout for this one. This is, you know, actually a pretty decent one. You know, loading it with these SRMs. This can be actually quite devastating at a close range. This is a close range build. So yeah, this can deliver a knockout punch at a close range. You know, in a couple of salvos, you can cause some great deal of damage. The only problem is that it runs a bit hot, so you have to be careful with SRMs in alpha strikes. And then we've got this another hero variant, the catapult. This one is the energy variant. Again, I've configured it as a close range variant. This dual PPC-X combined with the 4 small pulse lasers can really, you know, pack a punch, and it's also got a jump jets. It's an interesting variant and configuration. Then let's see. This Centurions actually quite popular for some reason. Although I'm not sure why. You know, the standard ones are just as good, in my opinion. Oh, yeah, this one has got the melee slot in there. So yeah, the Centurion's Hero Charger. This variant has an interesting story behind it. Is that its infamous pilot died by you know, using the jump jets and accidentally landing on its head. He's got smashed. Like the story about it. I think what's this guy's name? That popular YouTube channel, Black Pants Legion. Tex, yeah, Tex had told an interesting story behind this Hero Charger variant. Go check out his channel. It's one of my favorite channels on battle tech subject. What else we've got in here? So Charger, this Cicada. I'm not even gonna bother, you know, clicking on it because it's gonna be very long video. This Commando, loaded with 4 lasers, and then we've got 2 Hero Corsairs. This one, I've made a video about it on this channel, the Dash PVT variant. You get this one after completing one of the campaign missions where you fight pirates in the periphery. This one belonged to the Pirate King. Then this another Corsair, Hero Corsair Dash LZ variant. I don't remember the story behind this one, but it doesn't matter. Then there is Hero Crab variant in here. Then we've got Hero Crusader. Then this another popular Cyclops CP-S variant with the 2 Gauss rifles. To be honest, I don't really care all that much about this mech. I prefer the Night Star. If you want to have dual Gauss rifles, I much rather prefer Night Star because, first of all, in the configuration that I've shown you on this channel, the one that I use for the Night Star, you can have way more ammo to fit these 2 Gauss rifles, but also you get the ER-PPC, which enhances the long-range sniper capability. Just 2 Gauss rifles won't do as much without that additional ER-PPC in here. It's an alright mech, a lot of people like it, but I'm not too thrilled about it. Cyclops has relatively weak arms, which are getting knocked off rather easily. Yeah, let's skip it. And then what else we've got in here? This Dervish, you know, the missile-based hero variant in here, which is, you know, somewhat decent. No, for not bad for a medium mech, 55-ton medium mech. Pretty decent firepower, but it's missiles only. Then what else? Then we've got, oh, I've got like 3 hero dragons. Couple of them you get after completing the two campaign missions, and then the other one, I don't remember where you get it. My memory is kind of vague. I haven't played this game for several months, but whatever. So these are the hero dragons, in case if you're interested in the kind of weaponry I used here. And then we've got this enforcer, hero enforcer. I've placed the Gauss rifle in there. Then we've got fire starters. Yeah, fire starter in general, it's my favorite light mech chassis in general. This variant is nice to use on demolition missions. That's what I've built this for. Flamers work very well against the buildings, so as the quad machine guns. That's pretty much the my whole thinking behind this build. So that was the fire starter, and then there is another hero variant, the fire starter, which also, by the way, has got 4 machine guns, but they are housed in the arms in here. And then for small lasers, I've decided to go with small lasers in here instead of the flamers. Otherwise, it's somewhat, you know, comparable weaponry. And then this grasshopper, this one belonged to the Thor Miraborg, and they've done a video on this channel. It's the one, that nasty guy from the Russell Hague, who is always complaining about something and who sends you a nasty asshole transmission once you complete the Russell Hague campaign. Yeah, I don't like the guy, but that was his signature grasshopper variant. This was the one that he pilots with the gun. It's all right. It's all right for a heavy mech. You know, it's not a bad configuration, I must say. This is my preferred weaponry, so it's nice, you know, balance between the long range weaponry and the close range one. But I probably wouldn't bother as much with this. You can have fun with this, but I don't really care as much. The arms, you know, are getting lost rather quickly, which is the case with most grasshoppers. But the torso, though, the good thing about grasshopper is that the torso can take a lot of beating. those, you know, it can take a lot of hits for sure. And then we've got this Griffon, the Hero Griffon. That's my weaponry for this particular variant, I mean. And then we've got this Hatamoto Chi. This one, okay, so here is what's going on. This one belonged to Alexander Kurita, I believe. That belonged to the guy that you fight at the very final mission of Rise of Russell Hague. You know, Ronin forces. Their main guy. That was he pilots this hero variant. Let me show you the loadout that I came up with for this one. Yeah. So this is the my preferred loadout for it. So what's interesting about this particular variant is that you do not get this one as a prize after completing that campaign, okay? Even though you destroy this guy, you do not get to salvage this mech, no matter what you do. And that is done for political reasons. It explains, if you're interested, you can watch my video where I've completed that campaign. It explains why they don't give you this particular mech at the end of that campaign for political reasons. Nevertheless, you can eventually, after completing that campaign, you can find it in the industrial hubs for sale. And this is how I found it. I bought this in the industrial hub, yeah. So this is where you get it. Okay, anyways, let's continue. Then there is this Hatchet Man, Hero Hatchet Man. I don't really care as much about it. Then we've got some Hero Highlanders. You know, actually, these are somewhat decent. I remember being quite successful with this variant, the one that has, you know, the melee slot in here. Yeah, you can do a great deal of damage with this one variant. And then there is this Highlander HDN-HM. HM stands for heavy metal. This heavy metal variant, frankly, I don't really care as much about it, and I much rather prefer the standard original Star League Royal Defense Force variant, which also carries, by the way, the Gauss rifle. I much rather prefer that standard variant. I don't really like, to be honest, this heavy metal one. My problem with the Highlanders in general as a chassis is that their arms are kinda weak. They get knocked off rather easily in combat, and then when this happens, you get to lose your precious Gauss rifle. I hate that. And something like that happens. And then lastly, we've got this Hunchback GI. It has this painting scheme like an American football player, because its pilot was a football fan. So this is my preferred loadout for this variant. So anyways, like I said, it stops with the letter H in here. Past letter H, we would have to go down here and dig into my cold storage. In here, there are some Hero Maulers, Hero Orions, I believe couple of them, and so on. Many Hero Mechs. And now in this section of the video, let's finally talk about why I personally don't exactly like this Hero Mech concept as such in general. And I've talked about this in my previous videos. I've said this before and I will say this again. There are several reasons for that, and that is why you don't see me piloting any Hero Mechs on this channel all that often. So, the first reason is that they are apocryphal. They don't necessarily exist in the Battletech lore. Most of them are purely MechWarrior 5 game creation, and they are highly unique for that matter. And that leads us to the second reason why my second reason why I don't like them. My second reason is that they are quite unique. You can only have one Hero Mech in this game. You cannot, let's say, if you like this Archer, which is probably the most favorite, the most popular Hero Mech for many Dash AGC variant. You cannot have a lance of 4 of these mechs. You can only have one of them. They are highly unique. The Hero Mechs are very unique. So they have only one of them. One of each, I should say. And then the third reason why I don't like them. You see, according, to MechWarrior 5 story, behind all of these Hero Mechs, they all belonged to some notable MechWarriors. Some of them, though, no. Some of them, like for instance, this Hunchback I was talking about, belonged to a pretty average MechWarrior. There was nothing special about that football fan. Okay? And this is my third problem with them. You see, because all Hero Mechs have a very unique configuration, very unusual at the same time configuration. Like, let's see, you cannot just take any Archer chassis out there if you don't use that crazy, yet another Mech Lab mode. You can't really configure your standard battle mechs this way. It's got to be this unique hero variant. And this is my problem. You see, some people say, oh, that's, you need to understand the difference between battle mechs and clan omni mechs. I do know what the difference is, okay? Please don't mention this to me. I know what's the difference between the Inner Sphere battle mechs and clan omni mechs. Omni mechs, you can modify weapon slots. You can sometimes, exchange energy weapon with, let's say, either missile weapons or ballistic weapons, that particular weapon slot. In the battle mechs, you cannot do that. If there is, let's say, a ballistic or a missile slot or energy slot, it stays this way. You can only modify with you can only modify that slot with that particular type of weapon. If it's an energy slot, you can only use either lasers or PPCs. If it's a missile slot, you can either use long range or short range missiles, and if it's ballistic slot, you can only use ballistic weapons. But it's not the case with the Hero Mechs. With the Hero Mechs, they took that standard chassis and heavily modified and reorganized all of the weapons slot. And here is my problem about this is that somehow all of those MechWarriors who piloted all of those Hero Mechs, they had technicians who found the way to modify those mechs in such a way, in such a unique way. And this is something that bothers me. If those pilots, some of them, like, you know, that Hunchback's pilot, are average MechWarriors and had an opportunity to modify those mechs in such a way, then why can't we do the same at a certain point of our career? You see, we are also the heroes, okay? This game should be about us, not about them, okay? And at a certain point of our career, once we reach a certain reputation level and once we complete certain campaigns, we should have an ability and opportunity to build our own unique Hero Mech, if we choose to go with this, you know, Hero Mech concept. Yet, we do not get this kind of opportunity, even though we are much better MechWarriors than, you know, some of those who piloted those original Hero Mechs. So, this is something that should have been incorporated into this game without having us to deal with those, you know, crazy mods like, you know, yet another Mech Lab, which allows you to do that. But again, you have to modify this game in order to do something. But I am not using that mod anyways. Let alone, you know, those people who are playing it on console, they can't even modify this game in any way. They've got to stick with all original stuff. So that's my thinking behind this, all of this Hero Mech concept. I am not a big fan of this concept. I think it's somewhat ridiculous, but, you know, nevertheless, these Hero Mechs, they do exist in this game, and in this campaign, like I said, I've gathered every single one of them, and here is the thing. Please let me know down in the comments what do you want me to do. Do you want me just to pass on this subject as I did before, because like I said, I did not pilot a whole lot of Hero Mechs on this channel because I don't like this concept. But if I get enough comments below asking, you know, if people are going to be asking me to showcase certain Hero Mechs, I might actually, you know, show some of them and my preferred configuration for those. I don't think I have time at this point to showcase every single one of them, every single Hero Mech on this channel, because it just, you know, it will be a lot of videos. I don't think it's gonna be possible for me to do at this point. But if I get enough comments under this video of, you know, of people asking me to show some of them, then I might showcase those mechs. So please let me know your thoughts. What do you think about this concept below in the comments once again, and please let me know if one day you would like to see me piloting either of those crazy Hero Mechs on this channel. Anyways, it's been quite a long video. Thank you for watching, and until the next one, have a nice day.